It's not another Buffalo podcast, hosted by three of the most underqualified sports personalities this side of the canal. With John.
All you people out there who are like, these idiots don't know anything. First of all, you're right. And second of all,
I'm just a dad talking in a closet, but I'm just saying.
And Brando.
We have this trust built on whatever it is, like Bibles and gold bricks and whatever Brandon Bean's drinking over there.
all right, welcome back to Not Another Buffalo podcast. I'm John. I'm here with, that was Pat on the ground, and Brando. It is a Victory Tuesday here on NABP. We're celebrating. This episode is brought to you guys by Small City Realty. If you're looking to buy, sell, or manage property in Western New York, our guy Zach Korzelius, you can reach him at 585-409-1088. That's 585-409-1088. We've got a great show for you guys today. We got some Jets game talk, some thoughts on the Amari Cooper trade that just went down today. Another edition of Fill in the Blank, which has been pretty fun the last couple weeks. Finally get to do it off of a win this week, which is good. Then we'll get into some game picks for this week and a little bit of Titans preview. So with that said, we got a jam-packed show. We got to start flying through this to get through this in under an hour. But how you guys doing? Was that game a little bit? That game was drunk last night, but came out with a win. How we feeling?
Stressed, man. That was a stressful game. Very stressful.
Yeah. I was almost certain they were going to lose. Like, Brandon, how'd you do with it? At least you didn't have to work it, right?
No, which is nice.
We'll
be back home next Sunday against the Titans, though.
Right.
We'll be there.
Right. I'll be in the house.
I have a very difficult time with night games. I flew in, not like I said, you traveled this weekend, I traveled this weekend. My flight, I had to be at the airport at like 3:30 in the morning. I had to get up at 3:30, be there by 4 Monday morning. So I slept a lot, maybe like 4 to 8, 4 to 9. I woke up a little bit, had the game on, was kind of in and out, so I had to rewatch it. I was very out of tune this week with football. I had to catch up with myself. So outside of that part, the game kept me interested because the refs sucked. We're not going to talk too much about it. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Everybody's talking about it. Both sides suck. Come on, refs. What are you doing? It's not your game. People don't pay millions of dollars to see you out there. Nope. But it was another game that I feel happy to win, lucky to win, probably. I'm glad the Devontae Adams trade didn't go through for the Jets until today, because if the Jets had Adams, I would have probably expected us to lose that game. Poor Mike Williams. Aaron Rodgers throws Mike Williams under the bus in his post-game press conference saying he ran the wrong route, but Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 10 yards short. So I don't know what you're doing there, Aaron. Let's take a little accountability. That route, even if it was straight, was still short passed. So
I mean, you know, textbook narcissists do not take accountability for their actions. We know this. They point the finger elsewhere.
I couldn't believe it when I heard it. And he got kind of into detail. It's like when the three guys are going long, it's like the middle guy is supposed to kind of run out a little bit, and he didn't break it the way he was supposed to. But I'm like, Aaron, your ball was 5 yards short. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, and I mean, in all fairness to Mike Williams too, I mean, Taron Johnson really had to wrestle that out of his hands though too.
Yeah.
I mean,
a hell of a play by Taron.
It was like a Troy Polamalu interception, I thought. The way that he scooped that ball away from the ground, I thought that was awesome. Great play. Also, Terrell Bernard, man, superstar on our team, I think. Just stud all around. But
that one tackle for loss was pretty sick on Breece Hall.
Everything he did. That fumble he almost had, that was great. That should have been a fumble. That's a tuck rule by definition, but whatever.
Yep. Haven't seen that one before.
287 yards and penalties. Nobody wants to see that, NFL. Just be like an NBA game, put the whistles away. Be like an NHL game, put the whistles away. Soccer, well, who cares? But, whatever.
Yeah, they don't do that there.
Whatever. Just, read the room, refs. Read the room. But I'm happy. It was a struggle. The offense looks, every time we watch a game, man, we say it's different, but it's good. The running game was good. I missed.
It was good this week. It was good this week. Yeah.
Well, it was like, you had to check off your bingo board every week as well. Spencer Brown, unsportsmanlike or holding or false start.
All in a row.
Right. The pool hall would be very nice to you if that was on your bingo
Which,
card.
not to defend Spencer Brown, not to defend him at all, because I don't usually defend Spencer Brown. But I was going to say one of the false start was definitely on him. The illegal formation penalty, someone's supposed to line up outside of him. So that's not his fault. He's not a tight end. He can't help that. And then the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty
did not
was
look
for
that
finishing.
bad.
He was finishing his block. Like that happens every single play in the NFL.
Yes.
If you like almost every single play in the NFL. So that one was a little bit weird, but yes, no, the false start and Spencer Brown is no stranger to penalties that kind of bite us in the butt. But the one thought that I was just going to say the one thought that I had last night going through that game was like, it felt like watching, like I felt like other people watching the Bills win this game felt like the frustration that we feel when we watch Kansas City win a tight game and we're just like, this other team just can't pull it out. Like, why can't they pull it off? Like, this is a goofy, weird game, but like Kansas City always wins those. And that's why they're close to the number one seed every year, you know? And so it's like, okay, all right, we can win a goofy one every once in a while. Like this is kind of feeling like the Texans game. And it's like, we're going to find a way to lose this, you know, at some point, but that's not how it turned out. So
the kickers, right? There's the elephant in the room that we're talking about here, but not really. John, I know you and I both,
that's what my dad
in
texted
our heyday,
me.
have made 32-yard field goals. So I don't know what to say about this professional making millions of dollars and two 16-year-olds kicking for fun, but we're basically the same. So I don't know about that guy for the Jets, but
fire the snark cannon. Fire the snark cannon.
That guy saved Tyler Bass's job, I think.
Yeah,
Can we
Greg,
agree with that?
Greg the peg leg is our line. Yeah, man, I swear to God. But,
he definitely
funny.
did save his job. Yeah.
well, and
it's unfortunate.
I feel bad too for Jets fans because I think we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago. That Broncos game where he also had two chances to win the game. I think late third quarter,
missed.
early fourth quarter, misses two in that game as well. Like,
poor Pat had to sit through that game because he's not on the red zone grind with Brando and I. Poor Pat. Pat gets whatever on the local Rochester CBS station every Sunday, and he has to stick to it. So, Godspeed, Pat, for sitting all the way through that. What was that game? 10-9 was the final score
in New York too. Yes, it was.
You deserve better, Pat. You deserve better.
And thank you, ABC/ESPN, for not airing a doubleheader as well. That was
yeah. Just stick to the the local game there. Those double headers, I think there's like 3 or 4 more weeks of that this year at some point. But
next week,
I was looking at the schedule. The Bills only have one scheduled primetime game for the rest of the season.
Is it a Thursday night game, right?
It's it's San Francisco
Niners.
Oh, okay.
Niners,
San
I think.
Francisco. I'm happy
That's
about
a
it.
home
We got
game, though.
Yeah.
It's home for the Niners, right?
No, home for us.
Is it home for us?
Yeah.
I haven't checked.
I'm almost certain because
somebody
I thought
pull it
about
up.
buying tickets to the game.
Yeah, that might be home for us then.
Yeah, Niners and Bills. Yeah.
Other than that, there's a TBD last week of the season, and I think that there's just like 4 PMs in there for the rest of the way.
Chiefs game's 4:00 start. So I'd be curious to see the polls of American households that watch this game when you're listening to the Manning cast telling Allen to throw it away, and then he hits the dime down the field. Did you see Ray Davis like this down the field in the highlight? Just like, I'm open, man, I'm open. Like, in Josh Allen's soul, he's throwing that football, right? He's not doing anything else with that. But again, I'll say it every week until it doesn't happen. I am thankful for Joshua Patrick Allen, number 17, the Buffalo Bills quarterback. This dude is must-watch TV. The way that he snuck out from that blitz with Dawkins is right in between them, just like gone.
Yeah, I mean, I was
for a
terrified when I
touchdown.
saw the flag at first because I thought it was going to be a hold in the end zone for a safety as well. Like, I don't know, it was a very stressful. And then I don't know necessarily if Ray Davis even really caught the ball. I mean, I was like, snap it. And they took their time. But
yeah, and I think they even had like a false start penalty like right off of that as well, right? Maybe right after that too. But Brandon, you were talking about Josh ducking in between Dawkins and the defensive lineman. That was the 3rd and 11 where he scored the touchdown to Dawson Knox, right?
Yeah.
That was crazy, and that's just
Was
like
it Kincaid or Knox?
It was
No,
Knox.
Okay.
It was Knox, and man, if there's a good example of how like we can just take Josh Allen for granted, like I stood up and was like, yes, for that play, but it wasn't like, oh my God, that's an insane effing play, like. Really, and we get like one of those weekly. It's the same thing with the play more than one. It's the same thing with the play that Pat was just talking about too, where he chucks it down the field to Ray Davis. Like crazy.
Did you see the stat? It was maybe Josh Allen scrambled yardages, like passes completed when he scrambled for yards total. Does that make sense?
Right.
That's a long way to go with that. But the yards that Allen threw while scrambling, at one point it was 94, and it was the highest of his career. They showed the graphic on the screen, and then he just kept doing it. And every single time he's rolling, you see Joe Burrow's touchdown run?
Yeah.
The 47-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of these other quarterbacks, how many times do they roll out and throw it away? Just roll out and throw it away. And Allen is hoping and praying in his mind that he's going to get this ball off somehow. And he's never ever running out of bounds with that. You saw him fumble. He didn't want to run out of bounds. He didn't want to take the sack. He didn't want to throw it away. This man plays to win the game at all costs, and I love him for it. I appreciate him. He is a stud. I think the way that he handles this type of game, this physicality rivalry game against the Jets, talking smack after that touchdown to Knox, all game just jibbing and jarring at these Jets, and it is in their head. It is in their head that Allen is going to do something special, and he did. I love him for it. I'm so glad we made a trade for Amari Cooper because this man needs some help. He needs help. And it is obvious every single time when we're passing the ball, he needs help. These scramble drills should not be your offense. And it has been our offense. So it'll be great to see maybe Allen gets a little bit of a rhythm. Everybody gets slotted down a little differently with Amari Cooper on the team. But last night, the eye test. Last thing I'll say, John, we talk about it. It's on our intro. We talked about it last episode. Brandon Beane's watching this team just like he watched the other teams, and he has to know something's missing. And he went out and delivered because whatever he's drinking over there in those Bibles and gold bricks, he believes in this team and he has a brain. And it just vaulted my
breaking news.
faith.
Brandon Beane has a brain.
Yes, but he has a big brain, man. You could say Adam Gase has a brain. You could say
That's
Nathaniel
true.
Hackett has
I know
has
those
a brain.
are very different statements.
Yes, but to see the faith that Brandon Beane is watching and does something about the flaw in this roster. There's so many rosters in the NFL that the GMs don't do that. Probably 2/3 of the GMs in the NFL don't care.
Right. And this is a unique opportunity where that opportunity was there because his situation where the Browns already converted most of his salary to a signing bonus or whatever, or the pregame or preseason bonus, whatever it is. Like they only have to pay $800,000. He only counts $800,000 against the cap. Like where else are you going to get a 30-year-old wide receiver?
What does he have? 1,000-yard receiving seasons?
Exactly.
7 out of
And
9 seasons. Yeah.
4 out of the last 5, I think he's had 1,000-yard seasons. So it's like, where else are you going to get that kind of value for that salary? And it's like nowhere. And that's why it's like, like Amari Cooper might be 80 to 90% of the player that Devontae Adams is, but you got 10 times better of a, he's on an expiring.
And I mean,
you got for value. It's great, but he is on an expiring contract. So next year is a different story, but he's here for this year. He fills that hole for now. And we
don't have to get into this a ton, but some would call Devontae Adams a diva. I mean, if you watch the receiver documentary, I got to get out of here before I'm dead or, whatever. He meshes with Aaron Rodgers because Devontae Adams could be like, throw me another one and like catch it. Right. Rodgers and Adams could mesh together in their own little ecosystem outside of the coaches and blow off the play calls because they could do it.
I think what you mean is ecosystem. I think that's
ecosystem.
The ecosystem.
Vocab
Yes,
today,
that seems to fit with those guys.
And I don't think Cooper's going to be like that. I don't think he's ever been like that. Maybe a couple of snarky things now that he's been in Cleveland, which who wouldn't be snarky about being in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson
doesn't
as
make
quarterback?
You snarky.
I mean, dude, if we had to wheel him out there like Hannibal Lecter, but we paid him $800,000 for the remainder of the season, I wouldn't really care. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's a good locker room fit. He's one of these guys that you would hope he might stay. I mean, he's got to be licking his chops, right? He's on a contract year. He's coming to I don't want to say a pass heavy offense because we're not pass heavy offense, but
a dynamic passing offense.
And you think about like he's never
word,
really. I mean, and I don't want to disrespect my dad when I say that. He's never really played for a true like elite level quarterback either. Really,
Derek Carr says otherwise, man. Derek Carr.
He's defending Dak Prescott is who he's got on there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I'm not very happy with Dak after this past week on my fantasy team either. But happy 82nd birthday, Jerry Jones. By the way,
that's what you get. Birthday
That's
boy.
hilarious.
But no, it's exciting. It's an exciting time. But it's a cherry on top of the win last night. I thought it was a great day to make the trade.
A big cherry because, again, it's like worst case scenario, you're bumping everybody down the depth chart that should be bumped down besides Khalil Shakir, right? But like Coleman's going, it's kind of like when we got rid of the Emmanuel Sanders type player and then we didn't have Cole Beasley and everybody moved up the pecking order And Gabe Davis wasn't really ready to be that wide receiver number 2. And Isaiah McKenzie wasn't really ready to be wide receiver 3. Those were players that fit way better and were way more productive in their other roles that were not necessarily wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, but they had their niche roles on the roster. And I feel like that's going to benefit Coleman not having to carry the weight of being that number 1 wide receiver outside, even though he's not a typical number 1 wide receiver, but being that outside guy. And like, how many snaps are we running? I was watching who was on the field, and a lot of these heavier formations, there's only 1 wide receiver on the field. A lot of times it's Mac Hollins for blocking purposes. And sometimes it's MVS. MVS was out there like a bunch last night. I haven't seen snap counts, but I'm like, there's no way that this is the best personnel. Like, if you wanted to go play action here and your number 1 wide receiver on the outside running a route is MVS and he's kind of a one-trick pony, like, that's just not a good situation to be in. And Amari Cooper is a much better route runner. He can block a little bit better than MVS can, for sure. And just moving all these guys down 1 notch on the ladder, I feel like is going to help them all develop more, with the exception of Khalil Shakir. I think Khalil Shakir doesn't need any more development, but some of these young guys on the roster, Keon Coleman, and these other guys who are just much better as role players than carrying the weight of the X wide receiver, the Y wide receiver.
You want to talk snap counts? Mac Hollins, 67% of the snaps yesterday. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 32% of the snaps yesterday.
That's not a significant chunk.
Yes.
For a guy who would have been inactive had he remained on the roster at this point, which is crazy.
And then you see, like you said, you can move these guys around, right? And now that you should be able to take the pressure off. You shouldn't see blitzing as much. You could put Samuel and Shakir in the slot. You could keep Hollins out. Hollins flashes, but not really, right? He gives you just enough, but like not enough. I don't know. I don't mind him getting less than, 40% of the snaps, but give me Amari Cooper. And I am not an Emmanuel Sanders hater, but we talk about him so highly in Buffalo for his 40 catches and 600 yards that he had on this team. That's
but imagine the wide receiver 3 on this roster having that stat line.
Yes. Well, that's
imagine Curtis Samuel with that stat line today.
Oh, God,
right?
I'd be drooling. I'd be so happy.
So like that, I think that's the difference is like, he's not a wide receiver 1, but you were getting so much more out of your top 3 wide receivers as a unit. At that point when you had 3 really good receivers. So
I think Cooper, though, you can pencil him in for 1,000 yards now. If he already has 200 and you got 12 games to go, and to see what he is going to bring it's going to be dynamic. I'm super excited to see this whole ripple effect of having him on the field.
Yeah, for sure. And I like, does this alters expectations overall, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, it'd be hard not to. I have that written down as a question, but it's like, how does it not? Like, but how much does it,
I guess I have a question for you, John. So
Sure.
this is kind of a whole organizational thing. And I talk about the trust with Brandon Beane, because when he brings this trade in, it makes me feel like Josh Allen and Brandon Beane, they're in lockstep of what the team needs, of what the roster needs on the field. And it makes me feel that even though Sean McDermott is more conservative and he might be pulling the strings with these first down runs and these second down runs and whatever play calling gripes that you have moving from Brian Daboll to here. But I think having Brandon Beane in charge, right, as the general manager, he is going to give the personnel that is needed for a strong passing attack. And that puts me back into the faith of trusting this organization a little bit more, to see that, okay, he watches what we all watch and he understands that this can't be sustainable these last 3 games. So do you feel, I still feel like I'm not there with McDermott. I don't feel comfortable with McDermott, but having Brandon Beane there makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, for the most part. It's just, I don't want to say we got lucky with the Amari Cooper trade, but, I don't think it was part of the plan to trade for a wide receiver midseason, right? And so you kind of have to look at this like, what was the plan when Diggs left? And this is why I kind of wonder in my head, I keep coming back to, I really think Beane thought that this was going to be a reset year, and like, whatever happens, but we don't have Super Bowl expectations. We want to overachieve. We want to do all that. But sorry, guys, we got to eat this dead cap. We're not going to have the room to sign a number 1 wide receiver like Amari Cooper, and for whatever Amari Cooper's salary would have been had they signed him before the season. I don't know if they would have done that, but there was no move made like that. And, you know, a lot of us were talking about our concern with the wide receiver room. You know, us optimists were like, sure, we can do this everybody eats thing. And then we can, you know,
Watch everybody starve.
Have a competent run game and stuff like that. And that looked great for the first 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, we have nobody on the outside who can beat anybody. So it's like, that was their counterpunch. Amari Cooper is our counterpunch to that counterpunch, which is like, I feel lucky that opportunity was even available, because again, if Devontae Adams or somebody similar were the only options on the market, like it wouldn't happen because of the Bills salary cap situation. So
well, you also have to think that, I mean, Bean always has plans, right? He always is talking to everybody, whether it was going to get Brandon Ayuk, because we had cap space. What did we have? Like 30 million, and we spent it on pieces, whatever, all around these spare parts, the linemen, whatever. But to see what he thought was going to happen, was he going to get Brandon Ayuk? Was he going to get another receiver in the draft? Was he going to trade up? And it just didn't happen, right? You put your plan a little bit into faith, and that fell apart because you didn't have something stable. And then but it came back, right? It came back. So maybe he's just waiting for that time. Like he knew he had to address it. He has the draft capital to do that. And he did it. So it just makes me excited. I'm excited to see that we got a guy that watches the same thing that we do and thinks the same way that we do to go get a guy to help this team.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's gratifying that you're like, we need a receiver. And then like, okay, got you a receiver. Yeah. Merry Christmas, guys. Like, well, you know,
it's just the pain of the years still runs off to me sometimes, of all of the mediocreness of the things that we needed, but we got Shady McCoy instead, or the things that we needed and we got EJ Manuel instead, you know, whatever it is. We got JP Lossman instead of Aaron Rodgers. We get whatever, you name it. We get Willis McGahee, whatever, you know, to have the aptitude to find the need, fill the need, and do it cheaply, man. This guy is just GM of the year.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We got fill in the blank to do here. Do you guys want to do that real quick? We have 4 this week, which is an upgrade. So we already talked about the officiating a little bit, but we're gonna continue to have a little bit of fun with that. Our first prompt is people better at their job than Adrian Hill and his crew. Brandon, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Fast food workers asking for $20 an hour, but still messing up my plain cheeseburger.
That's good. Pat, what you got?
Tyler Bass, Greg Zuerlein, and/or Chris Collinsworth.
It's good. It's good. I have the quality control engineer on the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Nice. Either presidential candidate Kamala Harris or Donald Trump.
The Weeknd's hairstylist.
Michael Scott.
That's funny. Adam Gase as a head coach.
Heck yeah. Well, he gave us some great seasons, so thank you, Adam, for helping us out.
Forever in our debt. Kim
Jong-un.
The Pompeii urban planner.
Ooh. Tough luck for that guy. Nate Peterman as the Bills quarterback.
Oof. Sean Hockley. ... God, I hate you, Sean Hockley.
Oh man, he's the worst. The guy who decided helium was too expensive and the Hindenburg should use hydrogen instead.
I saw that one. That was good. Yeah. I don't have any more.
Yeah, I'm out too. Pat, you got any more?
Tab.
All right. Next up, better ideas to stop a Hail Mary than rushing 2. Brando.
Rushing 4.
Very true.
The obvious answer. Pat.
Put Danica Patrick in at defensive end.
Nice. Have the defense hold hands and sing Kumbaya on the goal line.
Yeah. To go along with that, John, I'm going to say when the Patriots put Gronk in the end zone against the Dolphins for their hook and ladder play.
Yeah. I was going to say it went just about as well, right?
Yeah, he didn't quite get there.
No. Pat.
Danny with some magic back then. Still, he could give someone some magic. Have an Amazonian shaman chant Portuguese gibberish from the sideline to trigger a negative psychedelic flashback.
Nice. I knew we were going to get some ayahuasca in there. Distract Rodgers by telling him the benefits of getting a flu shot this fall.
That's funny. Putting watertight doors on the Titanic.
That's yeah.
Hindsight 2020. Rush 2 players directly at Tyron Smith. Adrian Hill would call him for holding on at least one of them.
There you go. This one always worked for me personally. Spam circle triangle.
God, it's so annoying.
Circle triangle.
So
Circle
annoying.
triangle. You guys tapped?
User pick.
Yeah.
Any of you Madden players know what we're talking about.
Yeah. If you don't worry about it. Things that were better ideas in hindsight than giving MVS a fully guaranteed contract.
Prohibition.
Oh, yeah. Getting milkshakes with Brando in the middle of a road trip.
Always a good idea.
They taste good. They're a great tasting drink.
A deep sea tour and a totally safe and highly expensive Pringles can.
That's funny. The Trojans accepting the Greek Trojan horse.
Ooh, There you go. History lesson out there for all you St. Greg's students listening. Our parents letting us engage in trash talking in under-moderated Call of Duty lobbies.
Yeah, my parents didn't let it happen, man. You guys know the story. My sister ripping the mic off my face.
The Disney DeMar fake punt.
Oh, God. It's terrible. The Red Sox selling Babe Ruth to the Yankees.
Oof. Lil Wayne's punk rock / guitar playing phase. I don't know if you guys remember that. He picked up a guitar for a little bit. It was memorable.
The Jamarcus Russell draft pick.
That was bad.
That was bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to one-up you by saying the Bears trading up for Mitch Trubisky.
Oof.
Yep. That was rough. Pat.
Tap.
Okay, I'm tapped too. Brandon, you done?
I'm tapped, yeah.
All right. Next one. I needed the Amari Cooper trade like...
Gen Zers need social media attention. No offense. Yeah.
Like Offset needs to have a very delicate conversation with Stephon Diggs.
No.
Like Adrian Hill needs some glasses.
Like the Sabres need a new owner. Ooh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? I meant to cross that one out.
Like Ken Dorsey needs to update his resume.
Like David Spade needs Adam Sandler to keep making movies.
Joe Dirt.
Like Oreos need milk, baby. Sorry, Pat. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Oreos, milk. I mess with them. You ever like take an Oreo and you like stick a fork in it and then you dip it in the milk? I had never seen anything like it, and I wouldn't like it because I would bite down too hard, obviously, and bite the fork. But
dude, you ever bite a fork? How terrible
it's
it
the
is.
worst.
Freaking
it's the
terrible.
worst.
But
I'm
B-Mom's
thinking
loves
about
that.
it right now.
She loves that, to take the fork and dip the Oreo in almond milk. Sacrilege, but still very
It's time for the Weekly Sabres update.
Interesting method. I respect it.
Brandon would rather give himself hours of indigestion than just drink almond milk.
Oh my God, 120%. Always. Yeah.
Is that what percentage milk you get usually?
2%. 2%.
Why are you drinking 2% when you could be drinking?
This has been your Weekly Sabres update.
That's
Buttermilk,
plus
baby.
20%.
Yeah.
Like Adrian Hill needs to hand in his I'm from Buffalo card. Adrian Hill is from Buffalo, went to UB, and we don't want him anymore. If you ever got the key to the city or any sort of Buffalo memorabilia, turn that in. I actually have a follow-up one to that. We needed this Amari Cooper trade. Like Adrian Hill needed an inhaler when his out-of-shape jogged down the field to announce an ill-advised pass interference call.
That's funny.
You salty, Pat? You salty?
Yeah, I'm
The
salty.
whole world should be salty.
I'm
Dave, to watch
salty.
that.
I'm not
salty
saying. But if you had the opportunity, if you were from Buffalo, New York, I'm not like obviously you have to call the game a certain way, but I'm just saying, man, come on, like that's what made it hurt even more. It's just like
Let the players play the game.
let them play.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I needed the Amari Cooper trade like Lamar Jackson needs a toilet midway through the fourth quarter.
Like Aaron Rodgers needs media headlines.
Tapped?
Yes,
I got two more food ones.
All right, let's hear it, Brando.
All you, I'm out.
Like spaghetti needs meatballs, baby.
All right.
Yeah.
And like peanut butter needs a little jelly.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Nice. It's good. I was gonna say, are you anti other forms of jelly and peanut butter as well? The little strawberry jam is that sacrilege to you?
You go. I imagine creamy and grape, right? I mean, you're not.
It's always creamy and great, man. I'm not against strawberry. I do like strawberry.
It's just the seeds.
We get the seedless one.
Can you?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you?
Yeah.
Do you have it, John?
I think it's like the raspberry jam that's really seedy as well. Like those have the bigger seeds. Strawberry, a little less seedy, or at least they're, I don't know, a little less seedy lamb there. But
football pun.
Nailed it. All right, you guys want to do some game picks here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Brando, give us the recap.
Bum, 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 bum. All right, this week we had a tie atop the leaderboard. Pat and John going 4-2, and Brando coming in at 3-3. Still stays at 500, but Pat continues to extend his lead over his two counterparts. He is now 21-15, while John and Brando are tied for last at 17-19, inching their way.
Tied for second.
Out of 3.
Give yourself some credit.
So we're coming for you, Pat. This week we have a interesting spread of games from a minus 1.5 to a minus 8.5. So we got some choices here, boys. We're going to start with Houston Texans taking their talents to Lambeau Field. Green Bay is a minus 2.5. Pat, how do you feel about this game?
Shakespearean. There's Romeo in the air with some love. Give me the Packers to win and cover.
That's funny. John, do you feel as poetic as John?
You know, I had Green Bay written down, and then I was looking at how many interceptions Jordan Love has thrown and like the small amount of time that he's been playing this year. So Houston's got a good secondary. Give me Houston and the points.
Yes, sir. I'm with you. Give me the points. The Packers are 0-4 against the spread at Lambeau Field as favorites in their last 4 games. So I'm taking Houston. I think this could qualify as a game of the week for some. The divisional matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit's going to Minnesota. Minnesota, a 2.5-point favorite, even though the Lions clobbered the Cowboys last week. John, we're going to start with you this time. Actually, I guess we could go all 3 of us together. Everybody roar on 3. 1, 2, 3. Roar! Go Lions. Yeah. Unless you got a line for us, John. Go ahead.
No, I had a really hard time deciding this one. I had Minnesota written down for a second, and I couldn't decide, so I took the points.
Oh, you can't. Sam Darnold's going to let you down eventually, John. That's just science.
Probably, but like Minnesota's defense is good. Like, you know, I haven't seen anybody really, really slow down Detroit too much this year so far. But, you know, if anybody's going to do it, they got a home game. It's in Minnesota, so who knows?
I just think the Lions are almost a perfectly built football team right now, outside of Aiden Hutchinson.
I didn't realize I had Marshall Mathers above me over here. Freaking, but
I wish I could spit some lines right now freestyle, but I tried to and I came up with nothing.
You and Marshall, though. Big homers. I love it.
Yes. No, really, though. Look at their team, man. They got 2 stud running backs, 2 stud wide receivers, a great offensive line, a quarterback that's better than average, a quality defense, great head coach.
I think that's your answer. Is you're better than average quarterback. That's what keeps it from being a perfect game.
Sam Darnold's on the other side.
That's true. Also, Detroit's secondary isn't anything crazy either, too. Like if you had to pick a weak point, that's probably their weakest position group. And so, you know, Justin Jefferson's probably still going to get his yards, I would think. But
all right, next game we have the Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers. Super Bowl rematch. San Francisco is minus 1.5-point favorite as the home team. I'm taking San Francisco here. At some point, the Chiefs' lack of offense, dare I say, Pat Mahomes' lack of offense, is going to catch up to him. No Rashee Rice. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to beat him? I don't think so. Give me the Niners.
It's a good point. I just every time I pick one of these games, I'm like, this team should beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs just always pull it out annoyingly. So, you know, this is kind of this is the opposite of the emotional hedge. I would say this is if they win and I'm mad, at least I was right pick. Yep. So give me Kansas City.
The reverse. That's the reverse Bills not to cover. Yes.
Pat, that's the Pat Cab specialty. I'm stealing here.
Yes. Well, I think they got to lose one. You know, way back when we started the show, I quoted Rage Against the Machine and said, "What better place than here? Well, what better place than San Francisco, California, and what better time than now?" So,
yeah. But how did you say it when you said it like that? I love that clip.
Cool. All right. This game has potential to be quite a dud, or it could be pretty good. We have Devontae Adams probably making his first appearance, and we have the Russell Wilson era in Pittsburgh about to take off. So the Jets at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is -1.5. I guess it's the battle of the old quarterbacks. I'll give you mine first. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I've been stashing Russell Wilson on my fantasy bench in my 2-quarterback league for weeks because all of the other quarterbacks have been taken. He's not going to let Justin Fields even sniff the starting job anymore. So I'll take Russell Wilson to win this game.
All right. I was actually like, when I saw you wrote Pittsburgh down on the spreadsheet, I was like, did you hear that Russell Wilson is starting this week?
Yeah. You watch Justin Fields, man. He kind of sucks.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't turn the ball over, though. I mean, yeah, he threw for like 140 yards and not a very impressive stat line, but shame on you, Mike Tomlin, for benching him after a win. Like, I mean, I don't know.
I also, like, if it was my choice, and again, I haven't watched this team a ton this season, I would go with Justin Fields too, because at least he gives you something, like, as far as his running ability. He gives you that second element that, like, defenses need to. Russell Wilson is like, he's just going to hang out in there in the pocket, and he doesn't have the arm strength that he once did. So I don't know. I am going to go Jets on this one. But again, Pittsburgh pulls out ugly wins against mid teams. So that you might be right, Brandon, but I have no faith in Russell Wilson at this point.
Hey, dude had 350 rushing yards last year, man.
Russell Wilson did?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
I'm just saying, man, you got to watch some more Pittsburgh football. It's bad. It's real bad. And I think Russell Wilson's gonna leave an upgrade there.
How many rushing yards did Justin Fields have last year?
So many. A lot more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
look at his touchdown yards and his interception, all that crap. I don't know. I think Justin Fields is a one-trick pony, man. I don't know. I don't dislike him. I think he's had a tough start. But
I think Russell Wilson is a one-trick pony. I think Justin Fields is a 1.5-trick pony, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Pat, who you got?
Jets, Jets.
Love it.
Coming off a loss.
You know, Devontae's going to fuel up at his at-home Taco Bell and then come out there and ball out. Yeah.
I was going to say, is he moving the at-home Taco Bell with him to New York?
I would hope
I
so.
would. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I would like to work at it.
Probably tip you pretty good.
Yeah.
So Pat, this game is on the docket for you specifically, sir.
I will not be triggered.
Bengals at the Cleveland Browns in the dog pound. Joe Burrow, Ellen DeGeneres, whatever you want to call him, at Cleveland. Cincinnati is -6.5 point favorite. Cleveland without Amari Cooper selling their roster. They sold their soul to Deshaun Watson. What do you do, Pat? What do you do?
Well, I mean, I'm going to probably jinx him now, but I know at one point during that game on Sunday, the Browns had missed 26 third down conversions in a row. So if that's an indicator of what a powerhouse this team is, I've lost all faith. If Jameis comes in, maybe differently, but no, give me the Bengals.
I think I saw 0 for 35 in their last 35 third downs.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's gone up since then, I think, too.
Yeah.
But Pat, are you sure you don't want to take the Browns, man? I don't know. This could really ignite the team. You know, this
would be a big win, division win. Yes,
right. Exactly. You know, it's just it galvanizes them. Trades galvanize teams. You know. No, I mean, none of us are picking Cleveland in this one. We're Cincinnati across the board. Sorry, Brando. Yeah. If you got a one-liner, you can still say it. But
nah, the Browns are brown. It's
Browning
toilet, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Chase Browning, running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, not to be confused. But
he's going to feel insulted that the team is named the same as him. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want the name Brown if I was in Cleveland.
I mean, it serves them right, though. Could you imagine if you just named your team the Habermasses? Like, I don't know.
I feel like the Habermasses would be elite, man.
It ends in asses.
Yeah. The asses.
That's funny. Fair enough.
Speaking of things that people didn't think through, like you guys should be renaming the Washington football franchise. You guys should be in charge of that. It seems like you're qualified.
Yeah. Better than the football team.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, I like the Washington football team.
Well, they gotta have like a mascot. Like put someone cool on there. I don't even know who.
Like right. George Washington.
Right?
Or
like you could do like, I'm trying to think of someone that would be like
the monuments. And you
could have like a slightly overweight like Colin Powell on the side of the helmet or something.
Or the Lincolns, and you have
choice?
Abe Lincoln. Some guy with a beard and a hat. Like
your mascot choice for the Washington Commanders is a rest in peace, slightly overweight Colin Powell.
He was a commander. I mean,
he was. Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
I can't really think of any other. What was his title? Okay, not commander in chief. What is Colin Powell? Was the Secretary of State, but he's
yes, that's what I remember.
He was also
Secretary
like
of
a big. He was in the military.
Yes, yeah, he was. And George Washington as mascot wouldn't be too bad, you know.
No,
it's, his face is in public domain these days, so
You could just literally put on one of those white-haired things.
yeah. I mean, it would kind of look like. Have you ever seen like the what is it? Rhode Island Friars, like
So that like a AAA baseball team or something?
Yes.
It's the university team.
College football team. Right?
It's Providence Friars, yeah. Like
They all
that's what
got
I
that
imagine.
Old school look. Yeah.
Yeah. But all right.
Next game. We ready? Next game.
Sorry,
we
good.
have
Good tangent. Good tangent.
John's hometown Titans, which he is coming
barf.
home to see
Right, yeah.
because he's a hometown Titan fan. No, against the Bills.
Figure that one out.
Bills are coming off of another win. They are -8.5 against the Titans this week with a new receiver. I will go first. Give me the Bills. 8.5 is a big line. We're going to win by 20.
Yeah. Pat?
Well, this team apparently has a very high rated run defense. So, if we don't get rolling early, it could be a close one.
So, Pat, what you taking?
Bills to win, not to cover.
Oh, there it is. There it is. All right, you know my pick. Go Bills. We got it in the bag. I'll be there yelling extra loud, telling Will Levis to put something else in his coffee. But we should have done? We should have done predictions for what the Will Levis famous meme photo is going to be this week. So we have you guys seen this compilation grow and grow and grow over Twitter as time has gone on? So he's had all these crazy turnovers, right? Have you seen the picture, like the free? I'll put it up on the screen. I'll put it up on the screen in the video version of this. So if you're on Spotify, switch to the video version. If you're on YouTube, obviously you'll see it. So he's had a compilation basically every week. There's been a meme moment in his games, and it's usually him throwing the ball away backwards. It's him with his shoulder that one week where he's making that face on the sideline.
Yeah.
And this past week, it is unfortunately the ball boy on a stretcher on the cart being carted off the field because Will Levis rolled into his ankles and probably tore the poor guy's ACL. So what is that meme moment going to be in Buffalo? I think it's going to be another turnover, but I don't know. Maybe he goes to do the Lambeau leap into the stands and then misses or something.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Maybe they switch it and give him blue cheese instead of mayo for his coffee.
He
might like that though.
I was going to say, you don't want to encourage him, that kind of degenerate behavior. Anything else we got about this Titans matchup that intrigues you guys? I mean, this is
Tony Pollard.
I was going to say, it's not a trap game. Tony Pollard, you just can't let them get going on the ground, right? Which is it's just, I hate hearing that. Guaranteed things in life, death taxes, and Tony Dungy on a broadcast saying you need to stop the run, right?
Yeah. But they do need to stop the run. The Bills are bad at stopping the run. So,
but again, how many yards did Breece Hall have? A lot,
not that
right?
many. I don't know. What do you have?
I thought he had a pretty good game.
113.
Let me check the box score.
Yeah, because then Braylon Allen didn't have a bad game either. I mean, if you were to put
Braylon Allen wasn't too good. I actually had I needed Braylon Allen to have a reception. He had 2 targets and 0 receptions. Breece Hall had 18 carries for 113 yards, above average day for a running back, and a 42-yard rush.
Yeah.
And again, you won the game, but
I still think if we get 1 touchdown on the opening drive, if you get points on the opening drive, you get up 2 scores, it's done. Right? If you can bury them in the first quarter, it's done. They can't, because
you're not going to be able to force Will Levis to throw, and then this Bills defense is going to eat against him. I feel like good bets for this week.
How many picks for Will Levis this week? 2.
2's a fair number. 1.5 hook.
Yep.
Yes, Pat knows the gambling ways, man. Yes.
If you guys have a chance too, you should watch Calvin Ridley. I think it was earlier today. Came absolutely unhinged in an interview.
I saw
talking about the game. Did you see it? Where he was like, "Yeah, they
give me some targets early, man."
But he said he's very expletive ridden.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah,
Sounds like
happy.
this.
He had 8 targets in the fourth quarter, maybe when they were in garbage time, and he was pissed about it.
Yeah.
Hey, you took the money, Calvin. You took the money.
Well, maybe he'll decide to take next season off and sign with DraftKings. Maybe that's his future for that.
Maybe.
But
yeah.
Titans probably should not have gotten rid of Vrabel. I think that decision's gonna
steamer.
They should have got a quarterback.
Yeah.
Who was their quarterback last year? Will Levis didn't play the whole season. They start with Tanny, right?
They started with Tanny. They had Malik Willis on the roster too, but Will Levis looked better last year than he has been this year by far. So
I hate him, man. I can't stand
and you just see Malik. I mean, Malik was what? 2-0 as a starter, 2-1 as a starter, like playing super well. So
yeah.
Well, not super well, but winning games. So
exactly, yeah. He's doing his part, not hurting his team, which Will Levis has been. So
correct. Mason Rudolph. I mean, I don't know. We could we could see him. He's come in and played pretty well in relief. So
it's not Christmas time yet. Keep Rudolph away.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one. If you guys don't have anything else, we good?
Good.
No? All right. You guys know where to find us on all platforms at Not Buff Podcast. We'll be back next week. Like I said, I'll be in town. Say hi around the stadium or something like that. Say hi to Brando. He's going to be pushing.
Come find us. Yeah.
I know. Brandon's going to push me in a wheelchair so I don't have to go up to the 300 section walking.
We'll take the elevator.
So, yeah.
I'm not pushing you up there.
Yeah. Well, that's what you think. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Go Bills.
Go Bills.